Former President Trump is expected to announce his running mate in the race soon, and there's all sorts of speculation as to who it might be. One of them is Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, but Vance has one thing that some are suggesting could stop Trump from picking him: his beard. For more on that, let's bring in the Final Five's chief beard correspondent, Loreto Cruz, in the control room.
Well, Jim, yeah, Trump's apparent aversion to beards is well documented and goes back years. One prime example is John Bolton, who back in 2018, The Hill said, quote, officials say Trump was hesitant about hiring Bolton because of his mustache. They even suggested that was one of the reasons Trump didn't initially pick him as Secretary of State. This week, though, new reporting is out suggesting Vance's beard is his biggest obstacle. Citing a Trump aide, they say, quote, JD has a beard, but Trump is a clean-shaven guy. He just doesn't like facial hair. Trump, meanwhile, has praised Vance in other ways, specifically his, quote, beautiful blue eyes and long eyelashes. Unclear, though, if that has anything to do with the rumors that Vance wears eyeliner when he goes on network news. I'm no makeup artist or expert, so I'll leave it up to the viewers to decide, but Vance's team denies he wears eyeliner, but people continue to speculate.
He looks good with the smoky eye. What can I say?
Yeah, what can you say? But when it comes to the beard, Trump denies he has a problem with it, instead saying it makes him look the part.
Word is that you won't pick J.D. Vance because of his facial hair. Is that true?
No,
facial hair.
I've never heard that one.
Number two,
no.
Doug Burgum, the thing that hurts.
Like a young Abraham Lincoln.
Right, he's a handsome man.
He's a handsome man, just like Abe Lincoln there. I kind of see the resemblance, but to anyone who says, you know, anyone with a beard could look like Abraham Lincoln, that's kind of a stretch.
Yeah.
I do think we should bring back top hats, though. But it is worth noting, though, that two of the other big names being thrown around for Trump's VP are Doug Burgum and Marco Rubio. But they have one very important thing missing, and that's, of course, beards.
Of course.
Totally clean-shaven, those two. But all three of them have another hurdle they might have to get around, which is their past statements about the concept of a Trump presidency to begin with.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
I just think that it's important that you're judged by the company you keep, and You just wouldn't do business with him? No, I wouldn't.
What we are dealing with here, my friends, is a con artist. He is a con artist. Friends, do not let friends vote for con artists.
Mighty strong words. But hey, times change. If you notice in that clip for J.D. Vance, he did not have a beard when he made those statements. In fact, I've had to change the picture of Vance in our system several times over the past several years because of the beard. Here he is with the beard, and here he is without the beard.
Big change.
Like me, without the beard, it's kind of hard to tell it's the same person, but I'm not going to put those pictures on TV. So,
where was Abraham Lincoln born, Loreto?
Springfield, Illinois.
And who else is from Illinois?
I am.
So
I don't know why I'm being quizzed right now.
Well, I just think the point is when he's saying people with the beard, you know, young Abraham Lincoln, I think you could make more of a proof that you could be a young Abraham Lincoln being from the land of Lincoln as opposed to J.D. Vance.
I mean, I suppose that's true. I'm not trying to make a claim for the throne, though. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with Vance as all this pans out.
All right. Chief Beard Correspondent Loreto Cruz, thank you, sir.